I've got no, there we go, okay. So we have some echinacea opening up. Let's turn you around. There. Look at that, guys. Okay. Oh, that is just beautiful.
This one's interesting because it's so small and it's way...
Oh, way down there at the bottom. That's kind of a very sweet pink color right there. Very cute. All right, so we're fully into season. We definitely need to be getting stuff out now.
This is just loaded.
Oh, yeah, that bachelor's button.
This is echinacea.
That's not an echinacea, is it?
It's an echinacea.
It's an echinacea? Is that one of the wild ones?
Either that or...
I don't know.
Maybe because it's different than the... This one when it blooms.
That doesn't really look like an echinacea blossom. I don't know. This could be a rutabaga.
Over there.
We have some things here in the permaculture area that we did have tagged, but with all of the harsh winter weather and we had a lot of high wind, some of the tags went missing on us. Like literally just got blown out. We've seen maybe half of them because the top part, because we put it in like this, the top part just kind of snapped off and all the information's mostly on this upper part. So we are missing a few things, not counting that we have a Texas wildflower mix in here, and I did not keep the package. I threw out the package on that, and so Mom bought us a Texas wildflower book so that we can see whether or not we are growing actually any of those Texas wildflowers that we were hoping to grow. But in other news, as you can see, potatoes are doing very well. The garlic here needs to come out. Definitely needs to come out here. And then we've got devilweed here that needs to be removed, and then there's all of these sweet peas finally decided to come up very late in the year, very late in the year. They're not going to make it. Mom and I were discussing it last night, and I said I think I'm just gonna leave them, and whatever happens with them, which basically means as soon as it really gets warm and stays in the high 80s and 90s, which it should be doing that here fairly soon, they'll just compost down. So it'll just be food for the new beds. Sad we didn't even get garden snacks, but when you're around here, check it out. This is all of the purple asparagus. We officially have all 11 of them up and growing. There's one in here he's really tiny. I don't know if I can get you in here without, okay, so right here, see that? There we go. Maybe that's a little bit more helpful. Yeah. So that guy finally popped up. So they're doing well. The asparagus is doing well. And of course, we can't harvest off of it this year. It takes 3 years, and these are year-old plants. So we have 2 years to wait. But getting them established now means that we are just that much closer to having them. So if you're looking at doing gardening and you are noticing that you're wanting, or that you eat things that require a little bit more establishment, I would tell you, yes, it's important that you have tomatoes if you are, big tomato consumers, but I would tell you to go on ahead and focus a little bit more on those perennial plants that take a few years to establish themselves before you can harvest off of them. I know that's hard to hear, but I ignored that advice. I know a lot of other gardeners have, and they kind of regret it too. So, all right, over to the cold frame is what we've started calling it, not the greenhouse, because for us it operates more like a cold frame. We don't have ours heated, and we don't have it extra insulated for overwinter. So I'll open that. It fell. I didn't have it tight enough, I guess. Not even sure I can get these fans going today, but all right. So I gotta flip you around. All right, so the only ones that I'm really concerned about here are going to be these white currant, and this we noticed yesterday. I don't know what happened exactly. All these other guys are doing great, but we may be purchasing a currant tomato plant because I'm not real sure how they're not doing very well. Not doing as well as I'd like. Let me put it to you that way in comparison to these guys. Now over here, I do have this German heirloom tomato that was sown later, so that this is not their, you know, they're not stunted or anything. They were just sown a lot later. They've only been in there maybe a week. Excuse me, I need to spit on a few of my plants here. If you have seeds that are stuck, I'll turn you around. Okay, so you see how this seedling here has a bit of seed stuck? That can deform the leaves as they're trying to push through. There's a protein in our saliva that breaks the shell down and softens it so that the leaf can push through, and oftentimes it'll pop off. If not, you'll have to spit on it a few times, and that's okay. It's really not that gross when you think about it. And then I've got some calendula here that needs to go out. There's calendula over here that we up potted and it's just exploded. It's probably doubled in a week. And we have green stalk grow tower. This one's just full of our strawberries, and I do need to get in here and trim off some of these guys. This has popped up from the last few days, so I need to get in there and do a little bit of maintenance on them, but that's just a normal gardening thing, so no sweat there. But I'm going to go on ahead and pull out that tray of tomatoes. Okay, what are we doing? And where? We might need Captain Jackson. Well, we need to evaluate our tomatoes here. Okay, so what's going in this bed though? I don't know yet, and I don't even know if we can plant out in this bed because I wanted to look at the tomatoes, but okay, so this one is supposed to have the Black Beauty and then the German, that yellow German, but the yellow Germans aren't ready.
So we need 2 Black Beauties.
Yeah, so
We want the strongest.
this one has
Black
been
Beauty.
a really
Do you have the Black
strong one.
Beauties at this end or that end?
That end. Okay, so you can see we've done a multi-sow method here. Now this guy probably going to be one that we plant out. These two are probably going to be up pots that I might have for sale. I don't know 100% yet. Those are yellow pear. The black creme. Black creme, of course you are.
How close to the thing on them? Here?
Yeah, that's good. Okay, and these are also black beauties, and they're also smaller. But they could be up potted into their own individual pots as well. So what I may do is go on ahead, since I've got 2 more that I can sell. I'll divide those into their own pots, and then we'll just cull those 2. What do I do with my scissors? Or do it. Okay, so this is how you cull, for those of you who are wondering.
We have a very large ant's nest
Yeah, I noticed that.
in here, and they're carrying eggs.
Okay. So this is how you cull. We have these 2 in here. Now, I don't necessarily want to disturb the roots on a plant if I don't have to, okay? Because that can shock the plant, it can stunt it a little bit, delay its growth. And since I have 2 others that I'm going to sell or give away to friends or family or customers, what I'm going to do is this. As hard as it is, that's what you do to cull, okay? So now that means I'm not going to be taking any of those out root-wise, and we can just take this entire pot, plant it all the way down, and we're good. Black beauty.
Got the tag here.
Yeah, I've got those bigger tags with the ink that doesn't. I don't know what I did with them now. Okay, so everybody has a different method on how they do things and how things work for them. I have a garden notebook that I keep. I haven't necessarily diligently kept it every year, but this year I have been a bit more diligent in keeping track of things. So I've got beds here portioned out, and then I'm making notes about the things that we're planting. So for instance, the tomatillos that we planted them on 5/9, and I need to make an amendment note here
You right, I'm muddy.
because they're struggling. So I'm going to put a note here. Check for bugs. So we've got holes in them. I have to figure out where the top is. He's smarter than the plastic.
Which is yellow.
They're not ready to come out yet.
They're in the,
Yeah, they're in the.
you
There's
want one for each, or we can just tag between them.
I think tagging between is enough, don't you?
Yep.
Or do you think we need to do that just in case, since we seem to lose our tags?
Well, just so we know what's down here.
Yeah.
They're too tiny, huh?
Oh yeah, they're like smaller than, it's like these guys. Guys.
That's too small.
Yeah,
They need the next
they need
ones.
another week. Maybe not even a week. Okay, so those are black beauties. That's what you told me. Black. Black beauty. theoretically that's not supposed to come off in the rain. It's a garden pen. I don't know if it's actually going to work, but we'll see. Anyway, so I take notes. We had that planted out, so now what I'm going to do is I'm also going to make a note of planting out the Black Beauty. We had planted out our yellow pear over here in one of our original beds, and I've got a note for that as well, and the date that we did it, so that we have a reference point, because that has actually been very, very helpful, is having at least a general date from when we've put things out, when we've seed started, when we've done amendments, whatever it is, to try and help the plant at the time. So it's just something to think about and take into consideration. And 5, 16, 22. All right. Okay, so black creme are phenomenal. I don't know. I think if we ever just had to decide and had to pick one, it would be black. It would come down to black creme and Genovese, and I think black creme is taking the cake over the Genovese even.
Yeah, except we just need a meatier one for sauces and salsa.
Well, it is still fairly meaty. I just didn't take out any of the guts, like I should have done. Okay, so we've got a bunch of black creme here.
Take that one.
This one?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that one's a good one.
Probably that one.
And that one. Okay. All right, so if you're planting tomatoes or you're going to be picking up tomatoes, there's some basic things to look for. Number one, you don't necessarily want tall. The taller, the better is not the case in the majority of cases. But having some height is good. You can tell that the stems on these guys, our main stalks, are pretty resistant when I'm tapping them. This one's a little less resistant, but it's not bad. We've got top leaves here. Okay. I don't know. Let me wiggle them.
I hate to disrupt the other two.
Well, I don't know what that is. This is not a tomato. That's a volunteer. I don't know. I may go on ahead and call that one.
Okay, then
I don't know. Me.
give me this one and that one.
Yeah. This one's a little more wiggly, so it could go, you could plant this up to these here and it would be fine, stability wise, but you should do that anyway. And all of these, I don't know if you can see these little hairs real well, but all of these are basically roots in progress. So you want to bury those to get a nice firm stalk, unless you're in an area that is really, really wet. Because if you plant them too deeply, if you have a lot of clay, yeah, far end, they can get waterlogged and die. So we don't have to worry about that. We do have clay and a lot of rock here, but since we have raised beds and we're not working in ground, we don't have to worry about that. So things along those lines, you do need to take into consideration when you are planting these things out, if you're doing in ground versus raised bed gardening. Now, these are our Genovese. They're struggling a little bit more. Please excuse me, I'm still learning how to balance on this new foot that I had surgery on. So I ended up kind of running out of seeds. I didn't realize it. Otherwise, I probably would have harvested and saved seeds off of our Genovese from last year. So this year, that's going to be one of the things that we're doing with these guys, is saving some seeds off of the tomatoes. I'll do a short video on that at some point. But the Genovese is probably our second favorite tomato at this point, just because it is a high producer. It's consistent. It does germinate very easily. Not quite as well as the black crim. The black crim across the board, and we do the Russian black crim, not just the black crim, because there's two different ones. So things like that need to be taken into consideration. But also you can see we've had some struggle bus with getting them acclimated from the greenhouse to outside. At first I thought it was a little bit of nutrient issues, so I did feed them. We do worm castings and then espoma, but I can't say that it's a nutrition thing right now. It may just be due to all the water that came through, because we had accidentally left the window open in the cold frame, and we got a lot of really fast and really heavy water. So some of these might be suffering from a little bit of water logging. So I want to give them maybe another week, see what happens. These guys are the yellow pear. I think they're a little waterlogged as well, so we'll let them be and not disturb them either. Okay, black. So as I was saying, the Russian black crim are the ones that do the best overall. The regular black crim, they're a good tomato. They're not a good tomato, but the Russian black crim seem to be very, very hardy compared. Russian black crim. Okay. She's getting to do all of the fun stuff today. All right, so other thing I'm going to do, I'm going to make a note. Now the Genovese are going to be going next to those Russian black crim. They're not really, I don't know. We could probably get away with it, but we've had some birds kind of beating up on our plants. So okay, you should be seeing this at the end of this week, I think. Alright, so I've got a note there. Let me kind of show you what the birds are doing. It's not been nice of them. Turn me around. So, this is a nasturtium that we planted. We came out and we scared them off, and they didn't get a chance to eat it, but mean old birds. Okay guys, so we've gotten all of the tomato plants planted. We're hot and we're tired, so we're gonna move it in. But got a lot of pollinators out right now. As you can see, this bed down here is completely planted with our tomatoes. We still have the hatch peppers that are going to go on the other side. And then down here as well, we've got the black beauties in. We're waiting for that yellow German to get a little bit bigger, and then we'll be sticking them in there. And then, of course, we've got the yellow pear tomato in here, and cross your fingers for us that those white currant tomatoes will bounce back and do well for us there. But we've only got 2 of those, so I'm not sure how they're gonna do. Crossing our fingers on that, okay? But I will see you guys on the next vlog. Thank you for joining us today as we were planting up about over half of our tomatoes today. And guys, I hope to see you on the next vlog. So remember to keep it simple, natural, and essential. And I'll see you next time, okay? Bye.